Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Oh, I'm talking like crazy and I'm on mute. Oh my God, I'm on mute. Okay, let's go back again. I'm Angy Stewart from Mia InnerLight, and we are live here on Kardec Radio. And tonight we will be talking about this book, Heaven and Hell. And the chapter is about demons. So, do you think demons really exist? Yes, no? What do you think? Maybe? That's good question. Good for us to discover together. So happy to have you here. If you're joined, I already see a few people here. I see Tina, Sandra, Sonia. Hello, girls. Very nice to have you here. This is great. So I would like to invite all of you for a quick prayer, and then I will bring my guests of tonight, and then we can open the studies together. Okay? So let's go. God, our Mother and Father, thank you so much for bringing us together here tonight. We ask the good spirits to inspire all of us, to give us ideas, to open up our mind, helping us to understand what might be difficult, and also inspiring us with questions so we can have some of these answers tonight. And please bless our water so we will have our medication, and help our brothers and sisters who couldn't be here with us to be able to join us later, or at least in the recorded version. Thank you, so be it. Very good, my friends. Look at this. Look at the size of my water, okay? It's gigantic. And we do need water. We need a lot of water, so I hope you have water. And it was blessed too. So before we start with the studies of tonight, if you were listening to us recorded in Kardec Radio and you live in the area of Miami or anywhere in the United States and you would like to participate of studies live, our center, Mia InnerLight, has these activities on Tuesdays from 7 to 8:15. So you can join us live. You have to get in touch so we can send you the link. And then you can participate online, or if you live here, you can come and join us. The center is in an area called Shenandoah. It's very close to it's on Coral Way. If you know Miami, you know what I'm talking about. It's close also to Brickell, Key Biscayne in the south area. Very good. So let's go. I will invite my guests of tonight. So hello, John. How are you?
Good evening.
Very good. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much. You have been here with us few times. But for the ones that I haven't met you before, can you introduce yourself a little quickly?
Sure, I'm John Raphael. I've been involved with Spiritism for about 15 years. I met you at a mediums group in another Spiritist center, and Spiritism has provided me answers, has provided me with direction, has made me a happier person over these years.
That's awesome. Super happy to have you here, John. This also happened to me. Spiritism really changed my life, made me a better person, made me change many of my behaviors that I thought they were totally normal, they totally okay. And then I understood like, that's not really good. So I'm super happy to have met the Spiritism. So my next guest of tonight is Julio. Hello, Julio. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Uh, so, for who don't know me, my name is Júlio Schultz. I'm Brazilian. Uh, I'm in contact with Spiritism, I think, for in the last 20 years, more or less. And I came to Miami just 5 years ago. And 2 years ago, I met Angie, more or less 2 years ago. I met Angie and me here in InnerLight, and I'm very happy about that.
2 years ago, I changed your life.
It's true. You know the history.
A lot of things happen. Like, my God, we do so
Exactly.
much. We do so much. So it's really
Exactly.
happy to have you both here. This is awesome. Very happy to have all of you online. Hello, Juan. Hi, River. Nice to have you all here. If you are watching us live and you would like to say hello, to write, make a comment, please write it because I cannot see your names if you don't write something, okay? Just for you to know. Okay, so again, we are studying the book Heaven and Hell, and tonight we are going to talk about demons. So just to give you a little summary, this is one of the books of the codification of Kardec, the five main books. And this book, not a lot of people study, not a lot of people read this book. It's divided in two parts. The beginning until half of the book, Kardec analyzes many, the most important dogmas of the church. And when I talk church, I'm talking about Catholics because in the time of Kardec, in the 1800s, that was the main church that really attacked the Spiritist philosophy. So Kardec tries to bring like a comparison throughout all the chapters from the beginning until chapter 11. We are on chapter 9 right now. So he makes these comparisons. What is this for the church, the Catholic Church, and what is this for Spiritism? So that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. We are going to talk about demons in a little tiny part about how is this vision for the Catholic Church, but the biggest part we are really going to talk about what are these demons in a spiritist philosophy view. So this is like more important for us to understand this portion. So to start, I will read just a little bit of the chapter 9, and then I will open for comments from my friends, and you all feel free to make comments and ask questions, okay? So let's go. So Kardec starts like this: origin of the belief in demons. Demons have played in all ages a conspicuous part in the various theogonies. And although their hold on general imagination is somewhat loosened at the present day, the influence. Julius' microphone is extremely powerful.
No, but I'm using this here.
It's very powerful.
Ah,
So let me go back again. So where I am. Okay.
I can mute myself at least for a while.
No, it's okay. It's okay. If it gets
Don't
crazy,
move. Don't move. Don't move. Just
don't move.
okay.
Don't leave.
Don't move. Don't say anything.
Okay, so let's go back. So the believing demons had loosened up a little bit nowadays. So the influence which is still attributed to them by many suffices to render the question of their existence and nature one of no little importance because it touches the very groundwork of religious belief, for which reason it behoves us to examine the question with the carefulness demanded by its scope and bearings. So the belief in a power superior to itself is instinctive in the human mind, and it is consequently found under different forms in all ages of the world. But if notwithstanding the higher degree of intellectual advancement which men have reached at the present day, they are still disputing about the nature of attributes of that power. How much more imperfect must have been their notions concerning in the infancy of the human race. So, if we continue reading, Kardec goes on and on and on, mentioning that in the beginning of the existences, human beings didn't really understand what was happening. So they were afraid even of fire. And then they start attributing everything they couldn't explain in that moment to some kind of God or to some kind of deity that they couldn't control. So we evolved, science evolved, so we have much more knowledge nowadays. So this is something that's very good because we don't have so much of this old understanding. And the Spiritism helped us to even make it broader. But let's start talking about demons in that belief. It pretty much connects us to horror movies. And John was actually mentioning other day about horror movies that makes everyone afraid of spiritism because they connect the spirits, horror movies with what we are studying or what we are talking about. So let's talk about it. So what do you guys would like to start talking about demons and the belief in
In
the
the
belief in
in the
demons?
beginning, uh, what I think is that in the beginning, we, as a human beings, we were super concerned only about our material needs. Yeah, and everything that happens that help us to full our belly or do material things, we thought that was good. And everything that we didn't understand that do not allow us to fill our material needs, we thought that that was something bad. Yes, and then we started to believe in two opposite powers. Yes, the good and the evil. Yes, and these two powers, they fight against each other, and that this concept was the source of all religions that we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Very
What,
good.
what is interesting to me is over my lifetime, the not emphasis, but the interest people have on evil is amazing. And our mass media, especially here in America, have perfected the showing of horrible, evil things in such graphic detail that many of the movies I can't even watch that are horror oriented. So there seems to be, number one, a fascination with evil, and number two, just as you said, we look for the strongest, the most superior. Therefore, we developed God versus something else. And the something else was evil and was Satan. That's easy to portray in the mass media we have.
Yes, very, very good. Exactly. So we create those beliefs, and then for so many years that's difficult to change it. So the mind of the majority of the population in the world, God, it's really that old man with a beard sitting down in a beautiful throne, and he is really like looking down and like taking decisions and making who is going to be happy, who is going to be unhappy, this and that. This is the idea that a lot of people have, but in spiritism it's very different. We don't have this idea. And exactly like you mentioned, John, because there is God who is very, very good, like who is purely good, in any type of belief, there should be the opposite force, because there's white, there is black, so they are opposite. So if there is God, he must have the super evil, that's the king of the bad guys. And this is one of the constructed ideas that Kardec brings to combat, because the idea that the God is superior good, but then created angels, so they
Exactly.
were good, but these angels had some kind of rebellion situation. They went against God, they went on a boycott and some kind of craziness, and they decided to become evil, and they went against God. And so it's like this idea that God created something good that turns out bad. And in certain beliefs, it actually became quite strong, almost like God. So very, very, it's strange for us that believe that the idea of God that Jesus brought to us, this loving mother and father that really takes care of us and helps all of us and forgives us. This is it's a big thing. So let me just read here. We have a comment from Juan. So Juan says, the church believed that Satan sacrificed, no, practiced evil exclusively, whereas God practiced good exclusively. So yes, Juan. So more or less this that I'm talking about. We have God purely good, and the church brings this idea of this Satan who is purely evil, but more or less as equal as God. So this is like a disturbing idea. Disturbing idea. So what you guys would like to start talking about in spiritism, because the beliefs in Catholicism and other religions is pretty much spread out. We understand that many of these dogmas are very tough in Catholic Church. For example, they go to hell forever. If they do something bad, they will go forever into hell, and there is no forgiveness, there is no escape from there. So this is very painful. And in spiritism it's very different. We really follow the loving mother father idea that Jesus brings to us.
And then it's interesting for me in this view because we know that the Christian view we had angels, and then because they didn't accept the Jesus Christ because was the mediator between God and us human beings, then it started this rebellion. Yes, and so before Jesus Christ we had just angels. After Jesus Christ, because we saw this rebellion, we have I think it's one third, the, some of them fall and become demons. And they started to poison the human beings to do bad things and in the end do mistakes and go to the hell. But it's funny for me because before Jesus Christ, we were struggling and fighting, the challenges of our lives. And if we succeed, we go to the heaven. If we don't succeed, we go to the hell. And after Jesus Christ, the things become worse for us, because it's not just the challenges of the life, also the demons, trying to make us do mistakes. So it's a little crazy. It's difficult for us that when we use the reason to accept or understand, is a better word, how God allowed this happens. It's not fair, because who came before Christ, the path was easier than for us that came after Jesus. But this is just some thoughts.
And we have to hand it to Kardec, who, with the help of mediums and his own brain, came up with something that makes a lot more sense and puts together a unified theory of saying, hey, God created everything. And the interesting thing is, he gave us the responsibility of one, learning to be better, and at the same time, is there evil? Of course. Are there spirits created? We're all created, what did you say, ignorant, and what's the other
Simple
one?
and ignorant.
It's simple and ignorant, and he gave us free will. So we're able to learn, we're able to progress and become better, yet all of us have different propensities. So, sure, some of us have a propensity for evil and have a propensity and take fun in that, fun or enjoyment out of evil. By the same token, Kardec doesn't leave these spirits, these incarnates, in evil forever, but says eventually, through learning and through God's love and experience, they will understand that it is for their happiness, for their well being, to follow a path to help each other. So we don't have to worry about God creating something that is so evil, and if you are evil, you have no redemption. So it's a positive philosophy that puts in your hands the ability to help yourself.
That's yeah. That's exactly the point, John. Oh, Julio, you disappear.
Wow.
Woo! What's
What is happening?
happening? Julio is
No,
back.
demons around me.
Yeah, look at it. There are
They
demons around.
they they don't want that I open my mouth. I think it's that.
They turn off the light.
Or angels, or angels don't want that I open my mouth.
But
Who knows?
John, I like the points that you bring, because this is very, very important for us to understand in Spiritism. So, in Spiritism, we are all created simple and ignorant. But you have to understand, if you are new to Spiritism, we don't have one life. The life we have right now is not our first life. We have thousands of lives. I heard people say, "Oh, I reincarnated 3 times." I'm like, "No, who told
What?
you that? Who told you that? If you had reincarnated 3 times on Earth, you would be an Aborigine right now. You wouldn't be here on Earth. You would have to be in a different planet, because you wouldn't be evolved enough to be reincarnated on Earth. So we have thousands of lives. So from the beginning of our lives, we start making choices. As John said, simple and ignorant. We don't know anything. So we have two people here. They are born the same day. So little John and the big John. Let's put John, very common name. So these two guys make choices. Little John, he starts making good choices. Big John, he starts making bad choices. Big John is big, he's more violent, everything is through force. And little John is nicer, is more friendly. So he start making better moral choices. When they die and they reincarnate, they have another chance to make better choices. But let's suppose again, little John, big John, they come back again. Little John continues doing good, and Big John continues doing bad. Imagine this poor mother. She has these two kids. It's not easy. But when we go through thousands of years, it does not mean we take good choices all the time. It's not like that. We take good choices, we take bad choices, but there are some people that take a lot of bad choices. So if we bring nowadays, you can easily identify people that commit horrible crimes, and they are really, really bad and difficult. But in our minds, are those people like demons, or they are people that committed horrible crimes because of the situation, because of their own choices, because of the environment, because of so many things, and many of these things we don't know. So in Spiritism, these people who commit these bad choices, they have hope. We always have hope. That's why reincarnation helps us so much. If we were talking about the church from the past, from the 1800s, as Kardec mentions, that's it. This the Big John has no hope because it's too many problems. Is going down there to hell forever. And this is not what the Spiritism teaches us. There is always hope for better days, a better life. So let me start reading some of the comments here. I'm glad. Thank you, everybody, for sending comments. They are exciting for us. So Sandra says, how do we recognize a demon? Do demons incarnate, or they always a spirit? So Sandra, first of all, there are no demons. No demons. This is an understanding of the Catholic Church from the past. They are bad people. Yes, exactly like on earth, they are in spirit. So when Angie dies, she will wake up Angie. Angie is more or less. Is no angel, no demon. She will be Angie. If a bad person dies, imagine these people that commit massive murders. They go to school and they kill 20, 30 little kids. They are no angels, but they are not demons either. They are bad people. They are negative spirits. They are less evolved morally, but they are sons of God. So, like me, like you, like everybody, that person who committed that horrible crime is also a son of God. And because of the crime, doesn't make him a demon. That's the important thing for us to understand. You guys want to make any comments before I bring the other?
One,
Uh,
one thing that for me is not, I don't know if it's funny is the word, that this concept of angel or demon for us in spiritism, uh, not that it will change, but for example, let me give you an example. For a super elevated spirit, Julio, I'm a demon because I have so many faults and I do many things wrong. For him, I'm a demon. But for a spirit that is so low, like Satan, maybe he will see me like an angel. Yes, because depends where we are in the evolution path. We can be demons or angels for other spirits. This is a little, for me, funny.
But
yeah, no, it is true. In this case, yes. Don't
then,
go ahead.
yeah, then we may say are these evil spirits or evil people? They are hopeless. They can never be saved. They are absolutely evil. And then I remember the story of a young man who killed his wife and his child, brutally killed them, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Many would say, this person should have been killed, not sent to prison. He is a no good for nothing spirit. Who came to visit him in prison? The mother of the girl who was killed. And she showed him love and compassion. And he broke down and realized, what did I do? How did I commit these so many acts? So, in other words, we all have a potential to be progress, to be saved, to change what we've done. Many would say that that person that killed his wife and his child is useless. Kill him. By killing him, you do nothing. He goes to spirit and he reincarnates again, but with attention and love and consideration. Even the most hardened spirit or person can be helped and can be saved. That's one thing that Spiritism tells us.
Yes, I like this example because there are a lot of people that are pro death sentence in cases like this. And I have to say that in the past, I used to think that it was good. But nowadays I'm totally different about this position because exactly like you said, things can change so drastically, and sometimes takes many years to something to really change. For example, this man that was sentenced to life in prison, for example, even if the woman hadn't been visit him and made him to realize he committed a horrible crime, if he hadn't received anything to change the period that he would stay in jail, going through all the difficulties, would start making him to reflect because they are obligated to think because there is nothing else to do. And they would start thinking, if I have not done that, my life would be different. What made me do that? So it is what in Spiritism we understand. It's a period that is necessary for us to go over our bad actions and to start, before we die, start thinking, could I have done something different? Would be my life different? Another point, we also know that lots of people that committed horrible crimes later on, when they are interrogated, many times they say they heard voices telling them to do this, to do that. And sometimes they mention these voices are so strong, they take action and they do it. Yes, I know science tells that they are schizophrenic. That's what they say. These people are schizophrenic because they're hearing voices. In Spiritism, we understand that the spirits can talk to us. If they are good spirits, they will inspire us doing good things. And if they are bad spirits, they will inspire us in doing bad things. This is one point it's important to understand too. Let me see what Juan said here. So Juan said, the Spiritist position shines for its clarity and simplicity. Our spirits follow the law of progress, regardless of where they happen to be in the scale towards complete purity. Spirits not progressing stay behind until they decide they are ready to move forward. Nobody regresses. You can only move ahead. Very good, Juan. Very good. Love your points, the points that you brought, and that's absolutely true. We will all progress We will progress, all of us. Even this man who murdered his wife and his daughter, this other person who murdered 25 kids. So, all these people who committed these horrible crimes, they will progress one day. What happened is that many times this progress is not like this, it's not immediately. We always think, oh, he will be changed when he leaves jail. Sometimes no. Sometimes people stay in jail for 30 years and they live in the same way they were there. Sometimes you need many lifetimes to change. And most of us only improve through pain. Exactly. That's why we go back again to reincarnation. Some reincarnations are very painful and we don't understand why some kids are born with incurable diseases, why some people have things that you don't understand. So there are many whys in life, but this is one of the laws that's called action and reaction. So we do good things will happen to you. You do bad things, problems will come. Yes, John?
And you mentioned these people are called schizophrenics and may be hearing spirits encouraging them. I think it's important to say that in any kind of situation like that, realize that there is help. Look for help. You can pray. You can go to a spiritist center. There are things you can do, the gospel at home. There's many things that can be done if you find yourself in a situation where you feel there are things beyond your control. You should seek medical advice, assuredly, but also think of spiritual help. Because when you're upset and when you find yourself desperate, there is help out there, and seek it and you will find it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. We always can get the both medical help and spiritual help. So both would help us. So let me read Maribel's comment here. So there is good and bad, angels and demons, God and devil. But when it comes to demons, they do exist. There is being real cases of people being possessed by demons. Yes, Maribel, this is the understanding of a demons that is for 1,000 years with us. That's the beginning of the study tonight. That we have the God, the superior good, and we have a demon that's extremely evil, and they are always debating. This is an idea that it's not followed by spiritism. We are here tonight talking about the spiritism. So all these movies that portray demons, there is the what's the name of that super famous movie?
The
What is
Exorcist. The Exorcist.
the Exorcist? Exactly, the Exorcist. That the young girl that had that turns around. They are no demons. They are men and women that committed horrible mistakes. They are evil people. Yes, there are a lot of evil people. So when these evil people they die, they become evil spirits. Evil spirits. But they are not demons. The idea of demon is that they're extremely powerful, that they can do anything. They can destroy your house. They can do things that are out of control. And in reality, it is not. It is not. They are the only thing they are is they are evil spirits. And yes, they can be really, really evil. And what can combat really, really evil? Something that's really, really positive, really, really good. That's why it's so important to have a faith. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't believe in anything. They think life is what we have right now. And if life is good, fantastic. They never think about spirituality until something happens. And then when something happens, then they don't really have a philosophy to help them. They don't even go to a church somewhere, any kind of religion. Then this type of understandings can be strong and difficult to change. But in the Spiritist philosophy, this is temporary. And I see you wrote many other comments about serial killers. Let me see here just quickly because we have lots of comments. Like a serial killer is not necessary to possessed by a demon. It can be part of a journey and the reincarnation experience. Exactly. So he's not a demon. He's a serial killer. He's an evil person. When he takes all these bad choices, he's really not making any progress towards the light. He's just accumulating negativity. So we know a person like this, when they reincarnate, their life will be very difficult. It's not going to be a piece of cake. So in this case, you can imagine a little kid that sounds very young. The mother and father start spotting signs of something very strange. Likes to attract the animals, to likes to get little birds to smash their heads. Likes to get the cat and cut their tail. Likes to do things that are evil, like it has a younger brother and wants to struggle. Is this child possessed by a demon? No, no. This child is a negative spirit who reincarnated, and this mother and father needs to be extremely careful, needs to watch all the time, need to pray, needs to really guide this child, helping him to change, to improve. Is he gonna improve in one lifetime? Probably not. But it does not mean that he is a demon. That's what that's the important thing. Yes, John?
But we
Go
also
ahead.
have to admit, uh, Maribel was saying possession. We have to realize we're surrounded by spirits all the time. They have an effect on us. They don't have to turn us into psychotic killers. They don't have to be possessed by them, but they have an effect. And therefore, what you do in your incarnate life, what you think about, what you pray with, what you spiritually help yourself with is important, because those spirits around you have an effect, have an effect.
Exactly. They very good point. Very good point. So in Spiritism, we understand about the mediumship. So yes, if a person, for example, is a medium, it's more susceptible to the spirits to communicate through the person. And if the person is a young person, doesn't know how to deal with mediumship, yes, a negative spirit could communicate, an evil spirit could communicate, could try to make this person to take negative decisions. So that's why Spiritism is so helpful. We offer many types of therapies that can help a person that could be in some kind of case like that. So Mary says, believing in demons can also be an easier way out. It's convenient for us to blame a demon for wrongdoings. By eliminating the idea of demons, we have to take responsibility. Yes, very good, Mary, very good. Many times we have demons within us, within us. Like we get angry with someone, and then immediately wants to return that fight. If someone curse at you, you want to curse back. So we have this instability. Depending on how is our day, we could be more susceptible to negativity or not. That's why we always say watch and pray. So it helps us to take better actions, better reactions. That's the tough portion here. So I have, let me read this other one. This is Sonia. Sonia says, God gives us free will, and when we make a choice to do the wrong thing, I feel that blaming a demon is easier than taking the responsibility for it. Yes, very similar to Mary's comment, Sonia. Yes, it is true. It is true. We have
Yeah.
to take the responsibility of our acts.
Yes, but one thing that we can't forget is, because this happens a lot, that sometimes we receive some suggestions of obsessors or bad spirits, and of course that in the end the responsibility is ours, because we receive suggestions. What we will do with the suggestion is, we decide. Yeah, but
Yes.
but this happens sometimes. The ideas or bad idea that comes in our mind is suggestions that bad spirits are trying to plant in your brain, your mind. But you is responsible to maybe, oh, this is not me, and I will not follow in this direction. This responsibility is ours. But can happen that some bad thought is not really us thinking. It's just bad suggestion coming from bad spirits.
Yes, exactly. So it's totally possible. These suggestions can happen every day, especially when we are affected. Like if you had a fight with someone, you bring your vibration that's here, brings down because you are angry now. So who is down here? The negative spirits, the spirits that enjoy fights, problems, horrible things. So they connect with you because you are down, and they inspire you in doing things. So they start giving you these ideas. Oh, curse back, smack the face of this person. And then you are there and you're like, that's a good idea. And you, and then fights can escalate to a level that's really horrible. But everything is that what we mentioned before, we have free will. We can listen to all this, but if we are under control of our emotions, we do like John said, or you also said, wait a minute, this is not me. I don't smack faces of people. I don't do this type of stuff. And then you are able to control yourself, and then that desire passes. But this is the important thing, to control ourselves.
Exactly. Do you know that there are some not case is about suicidal thoughts? Yes, and many times when we have suicidal thoughts, sometimes many times are bad spirits trying to to put you in these directions. And what is said that in the end, when you are almost following or doing, they just leave. They just leave. It's something like, I planted this idea and now it's not my responsibility. Yes, and then is the moment that you can stop and think, I will do this or not. If I decide to do, is because was my choice. Yes, it's not because a obsessor came and was trying to influence me.
Exactly. We have choices. That's the point. So Maribel made many comments here. When a soul reincarnate and they were bad or evil in this life, it doesn't mean that they will be reincarnating as bad or evil again. Before you reincarnate, you create your own experience that you want to live in the new reincarnation. Not exactly like this, Maribel.
Yeah.
We don't, in the level that we do not have 100% of choices in reincarnation. If you are someone who committed mistakes, like I mentioned, let's suppose the case of a man who kills 25 kids. It doesn't mean when he dies, the spirits that take his he takes his case that will help him to reincarnate, will tell him, okay, what do you want to do right now? And he said, oh, I wanna be born, I don't know, in the United States to a very good mother and father, and I want my life to be beautiful. It's not exact like this. He cannot even suggest anything because of the level he is. When the mistakes are a little bit simpler, we can choose. If you read the books of André Luiz's Spirit, you will understand this. Nosso Lar, Astral City, you will understand that the level of spirits that are there, they can make choices in their reincarnation. And you are right in the sense that something that you made a lot of evil things, you could return to a normal life. Yes. You could return with good mother and father. Yes. Your mistake is within you. It is still there. It's the seed is planted. And that's why I said many times since a little kid, you observe which spirit is that. But let's suppose this spirit has a second chance. So many times we'll be born normal in a good family, but we reach to a moment that maybe something is going to happen, is going to change the life of this person, because the person will need to experience the evil things it did. So in spiritism, it's not you do this and this will happen to you. There are so many possibilities. But what do you make? You choose what you want to do? Not exactly. Not in
Is
this type of
it
situation.
exactly because what we plan usually is in which family we were born, some challenges in our lives, and sometimes even the profession that we will follow. But we don't choose if we will be good or bad. This because this is a moral. This is something that we need to fight for. This is something that we need to evolve. It's not
Yeah.
something. Oh, I decided that in next life I want to be good. It don't
Yeah.
work in that way. Yes, or you are good or not, and you are always
Yes.
progressing.
Yeah. You and the progress.
Exactly.
So Mary said it's important to remember that it is our own imperfections that attract less evolved spirits or demons. Very good, Mary. Exactly. Our day-to-day life is what attracts good or bad. And that's why our behavior is so important. Like when we try to be better people, we do not need to be perfect, but when we try to be better, we attract the spirit that realize we are trying hard to be better. So they help us. But when we live in a life that we don't care, we are like, we don't even need to commit like murders. But you take advantage of people, you steal money, you start doing things that you shouldn't. We should always think, would I like this to happen to me? Would I like someone to be doing this to me? If your answer is no, then you know you're doing something wrong. What happened is that many times we are doing that, nobody is seeing. We think it's okay, that it's not going to affect anyone, so it's okay. But if it's something that you wouldn't like to happen to you, that's bad. If there is a book, you love a book, and suddenly this book disappears, so someone stole it from you, and yes, you can buy another book, but you didn't like that. So if you are doing this, that's not good. So this is like what we have to be careful, and what we have to think about. So we have our second book that we didn't talk about at all, and it's super important for us to go through. That this is this book here. This is, let me show the book before I show it here. So this is what is Spiritism, and we always dedicate at least 10-15 minutes to this book. It's a beautiful book that the Kardec helps us also to understand in so many aspects of Spiritism. So this is like a little summary. So in this chapter, it talks about the elementary notions of Spiritism. So this is really for people that don't know much about the Spiritism and needs to have a better understanding. So this is what we are going to be doing. We are going to do the preliminary remarks. So John, could you read it for me, the yellow portions only?
It would be a mistake to think that witnessing a few extraordinary phenomena would be enough for certain disbelievers to be convinced. They nearly always come with a preconceived idea and a negative state. They ask questions and raise objections to which is impossible to immediately respond completely. Those who are familiar with Spiritism believe that spirit phenomena can be produced in the same way that other phenomena can be produced in physics and chemistry experience. They do not believe in the existence and uh, intervention
Intervention.
of spirits. At least they do not understand their nature. Since they do not get what they are asking for, they conclude that there are no spirits after all. Spirits are human souls, ill disposed to serve as playthings to satisfy the fantasies of the curious.
Very good. So let's comment about point number one, because this is super interesting for people, because they many times the ones that do not believe in spirits, they do not they think you know, materialistic people, for example, they think after you die, that's it disappeared, there is nothing. So they have these ideas, and when they come in a spiritist center, for example, or in some kind of a spiritual conversation, many times they ask questions to answers they already had in their minds. And if we try to give a different answer that they do not agree, there are many possibilities, but most of them they shut down because they don't agree with that and they don't see possibilities. So what do you guys want to talk about this? Have you experienced someone like this, talking to someone that acts like this? How did you go through it?
Well, if we're talking about extraordinary phenomena, people will immediately think it's a trick. So if they see a ghost, if they see something that they don't understand, they would say, oh, it's just a trick. Let's face it, now with artificial intelligence, you don't know if you're looking at a real person, if you're hearing what they're saying. Just with a few words recorded from a person, they can make a likeness of you. That's what the actors are objecting to, that they can be replaced with our artificial intelligence. Even the writers can be replaced with artificial intelligence.
Yes, artificial intelligence
Yes.
is like scary. It's like the movies from the past. When we saw that, we imagined this is never going to happen. It's happening right now. It's amazing new world that is just starting. Julio, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I think that in the end there are so many frauds. This is so common that is understandable when someone, goes and don't believe because they think that that can be a trick, and this happens a lot. and we need to be aware. But this doesn't mean that the phenomena do not exist, because exist. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, there are. I'm a kind of person that I needed first to remove all the physical possibilities until I really, this phenomenon is authentic. But I think this is fine.
Yeah, and you know, the same thing in a little bit different. It also happened like the people that are disbelievers, many times they say, "Oh, I don't believe because I never saw a spirit. The day I see a spirit, I will believe." And many times when a phenomena happens, they still don't believe because they choose not, they are not prepared. There are many things their mind will not accept. So whenever something happens and it's mediumistic, they say, "Oh, this was a lie, this was fraud, oh, this is my imagination, this is not possible." So when a person is not prepared to understand, will not understand. It doesn't matter. Like in Brazil, we had a very, very powerful medium, Chico Xavier, who channeled thousands and thousands of letters. And the letters, especially the letters for the mothers who their kids had died, he channeled letters with a very, very high level of a detail, the name of the kid, and many times even those mothers, they mentioned that they took the letter and there were names of people. He's saying, "Oh, my aunt is here, her name is da da da," and she's like, "No, there is no one in my family with this name. This has to be a mistake." And then they go to research with an elderly person in the family, and they say, "Oh yes, you had an aunt, I never told you because she died when you were very young." So things like this. But when people choose not to believe, they will say, "Oh, he researched," and nowadays, "Oh, he researched in the internet, or someone told him." So yes, it's very difficult. There is fraud for sure, but there is also true things. And as usual, we should never believe in everything. We have to research. But I'm talking about the people that are not prepared to even understand the phenomenon. And just finalizing, we have this other point um, that the people that are not familiar with spiritism, they think they can go to a spiritist center or they can meet someone who is a medium, and immediately this person can produce a phenomena to make him to believe. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, tell me the numbers of the lottery, and do this and do that." And in this portion, Kardec even mentioned that they are like here. Spirits are souls that after the death, we ourselves will be spirits, and that we too would be ill disposed to serve as playthings to satisfy the fantasies of the curious. Meaning, if we die, we wouldn't like to be doing whatever someone wants just to prove that it is possible to have a phenomenon. And that's why when science try to study mediums, it's so difficult because mediums depend on the spirits. They don't produce the phenomena. The spirits that are the ones who actually do it. That's why it's so difficult. You guys want to say anything about this final point?
No.
No.
I have something to say about the first point in the discussion about demons. I think that maybe could be a good idea for who has the Spiritist book, because in the question, I think is 100, they describe the Spiritist hierarchy. Yes. And we can divide the spirits in three different groups: the imperfect spirits, good spirits and perfect one, pure spirits. Of course, that inside each of these categories, we have subcategories. Like in the, if I'm not wrong, I think for imperfect spirit we have 5 subcategories. For good spirit we have 4 subcategories. So if you want to understand more about and maybe try to identify yourself in which category you are, I think that the question 100 is a good point to read.
That's very good. That's very, very good. And yes, we are always afraid to identify where
Yes, I'm
when we read.
I'm afraid to read.
No, when we read, when we read the point, the good spirit is not even the good spiritist, is the good person. I'm sorry. When you read the good person, it's not the good spiritist, it's the good person. There are so many attributes, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
so far from it.
Yes, we are far away.
So very difficult, very difficult. But this is a very, very good suggestion because
Yes.
yes, it can be confusing and it can bring lots of confusing ideas. So it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard for people. But
Yes, and you will see and you will identify demons and angels in this
yeah,
classification. Yes, it's
yes.
100 is easy to remember.
That's good. Very good. Awesome. So we are out of a time. We should have ended. So um, let's just do our final prayer. Thank you so much to all of you that were here with us, that participated, that made your comments, your questions. I hope we were able to help you a little bit. And please go to the Spirits book. You can even find it online in free PDF, and let's meet again next month. And we will be studying chapter 10. Let me just see what is chapter 10. We were in chapter 9. Chapter 10 will be. Let me see. Where are you? Chapter 10. Oh, here. Gosh, I can't. Finally, intervention of demons in the spirit manifestation of the present day. Oh my God, we are going to be talking about demons again next month. Very good. So I hope
Okay.
everybody reads the item 100 from the Spirits book before we come back again. So, John, could you do our final prayer, please,
Sure.
before we end? Thank you.
Mother, Father God, thank you for bringing us together this evening so we may share our knowledge, so we may share our experiences, so we can become better spirits. May we take this information to our friends, to our families, to people at work, so they can share the love and forgiveness we shared with each other this evening. So be it.
So be it.
Very good. Thank you so much, everybody that participated. It was awesome. Thank you so much for your questions, your comments. Thank you, John, for being here with us. Julio, very, very good. Thanks a lot. And all of you, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, if you are in the Miami area and you would like to come in person to visit our Spiritist Center, it is here in Miami in the Shenandoah area. It is on Coral Way. And if you would like to participate online from anywhere, just get in touch and we send you the link and you join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thank you. Everybody have a great night. God bless you all. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.